Arcade Heroes.
This is Adam with Arcade Heroes with something a little bit different, as we have the Exa-Arcadia platform that has some games on it that are found on consoles or PC. And so I may be doing more of these in the future, but for starters we'll be doing Shaolin versus Wutang compared to the Kung Fu versus Karate Champ. Now Shaolin versus Wutang was released to PC, as you saw there a moment ago. The Kung Fu versus Karate Champ is available in arcades, and so this comparison video is just to show you some differences. Now, of course, the one big difference that the arcade version has, as you see here, is the tutorial that plays when you first coin up and push start. You can skip this if you want, but I filmed it so that you could see how it goes here, and so this just shows you the moveset, which is pretty simple. Now, while I'm playing on both the PC, which is on the right, and the arcade, which is on the left, I will readily admit that I am not a very good fighting game player. I am nowhere near Evo tournament quality. Probably couldn't even get into the qualifiers for the qualifiers or anything like that. So yeah, I'm probably not the best person to be showing this off, but I don't have any skilled models, I guess I could say, to play these. But the sound of which version is currently going will be indicated with the speaker up top. Right now it's the Exa-Arcadia version. And one thing you'll notice here, and there's a reason why I left the loading in here, is surprisingly the PC version, where on my PC I have an SSD, it still took that long to load before the match started. But both of these I'm playing as Jeet Kune Do, which is Bruce Lee. Now, if you're not familiar with this game, with either identity, it's essentially a love letter to Kung Fu movies of the past, and so it has a bunch of these characters and their fighting styles that they used without being the character, to avoid any licensing issues. And so, while it doesn't say that it's Bruce Lee here in any of the descriptions or the name, it's obviously who it's based off of. And then you have others like Jet Li and Jackie Chan and Chuck Norris and the lady from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and many, many others. And so if you really like Kung Fu movies, then this fits in with all of those, and even the sound and everything. Now, one thing I do need to mention is that due to an issue with my laptop that I was using to capture off of the Exa-Arcadia on the PC side, I just used the built-in capture software that comes with the AMD card, but the Exa-Arcadia I had to use an Hoppage capture device that plugged into my laptop. My laptop's having some major issues right now, and mainly with the battery, and so it caused some weird glitches with the audio and caused that to even desync, and so the audio on the Exa-Arcadia capture doesn't sound as good as the PC version that you're hearing right now, but in person it does sound just fine. It sounds just as sharp and clear. And now there are some graphical differences between the two games. On the PC side, I cranked up the settings to maximum, and one of those includes this sort of film grain feature, and you can kind of notice that it's kind of flickering as far as the brightness or the bloom goes, and so sometimes it's not as noticeable, other times it's really noticeable. The arcade version, they don't really have that going on. It maybe a little bit, or I've noticed it on certain levels, but not all of them. But yeah, I mean, looking at both of them, they're pretty much on par with each other from a graphical standpoint, from an audio standpoint. Now, there have been a lot of changes made to the arcade version to differ in or balance out the difficulty to fit in with what Japanese players like more. And this is a complaint from me, is that I think it should have come with a difficulty balancing slider in the first place, but something like that will be coming later on. I don't know when, exactly. But that will come in a future update for the Exa-Arcadia version, just because this game is freaking hard. And now again, I'm no good at fighting games. My jam is racing games and like games and shoot 'em ups and all that sort of stuff. But with fighting games, I've never been terribly good at them. But even then, and watching people play this, it's really tough. Like, it's very difficult to beat the first character. But it's like that on the PC version as well. The PC version is noticeably easier, but not by a huge margin. But the arcade version, it's been kind of rare for us to find somebody that can beat the first character, and so it just needs a better difficulty slide, I guess you could say, on both versions. But again, the arcade version will be getting that down the road, and actually this is one of those times where I did beat it on the arcade side. Now, zooming into the Exa-Arcadia version, here is also another major difference, and this is a character that is not found on the console versions, and that is Best Karate, who, as you know, this is representing Daniel-san Daniel LaRusso from the Karate Kid films, the original ones. And so just go full screen on that one here. Now, I have not been terribly good with him. I do know how to pull off the crane kick, but usually it's something that I end up messing up because it does take a moment for the animation to go through, and because of that, it leaves you wide open for an attack. And so if you're going to use it, you need to really know what you're doing. Now, on the movesets, that's what's nice about this, is for casual players or noobs like myself who still need to get good, it's not hard to pull off the special moves. It's usually just half circles, either forward or backwards, and then either kick, punch, or your weapon. And also with your kick, punch, and weapon, depending on which direction you're pushing on the joystick, will determine if you're doing a normal attack or a stronger attack. It's only a 4-button game. The 4th button is your evade or dash button. And if you push punch and weapon at the same time, you'll do a grab, but it always seems to me like the computer is able to grab me a lot further away than I'm able to grab them. But either way, if you come across the arcade version, then you find Daniel LaRusso to be able to play. And from my observation so far, people have enjoyed this game more in versus mode, since that's where it's not so tough to play through as it is in single player currently. Now, you've probably seen the guys flashing their kind of orange-yellow. That's a combo breaker. If you get your gauge there filled all the way up, then you can do a super combo, which, oh, I did a crane kick there, but I guess it didn't really connect. That's one of the things, the computer blocks a lot here. I think I'm going to pull off a super combo here. Just a second. There we go. And so if you land that, you can do some nice damage. That and throws seem to do the most damage in this game. But overall, I do like this game. It moves really smooth, it loads really fast, and from what I'm hearing, loading times are going to come down even further on the Exa in general, and so that's a great thing. And just need the ability to change the difficulty, and then this one will be good to go. It's not the only fighting game available on the platform. It was the first, and that's one reason why I picked it up. But recently, they did release Chaos Code Exact Xeno Attack, or Chaos Code Exa. Chaos Code has been around in Japanese arcades since 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. It's a 2D fighter. Something I have been considering, but due to the pandemic, just really doing some damage to our earnings and holding off on further purchases. Although that said, before the pandemic hit, I did end up purchasing Lightning Knights, which is an Exa-Arcade version of Iron Cryptical, and so I'll do a comparison video on that one, as well as I know that Lightning Knights is significantly different from the console version. But that's Kung Fu vs. Karate Champ. When the update comes along, I will be sure to do another comparison video. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video, whatever it may be.